Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the Bee Prep Show.
And we're coming to you from the Sacramento Bee Photo Studios in downtown Sacramento.
Welcome back for another edition of the Bee Prep Show. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee, coming to you from downtown here in the offices of the Bee. And Joe, it's really our first chance to get out and just see loads of spring sports: baseball, softball, soccer, some boys volleyball as well. And we're going to sprinkle it out with some football news.
Well, there's always football. I think football has an endless calendar, even in the high school and the college ranks. We've got Eric Armstead upstate. He's going to visit a Bay Area team for the NFL draft.
Yep. And as always, we'll have our school's financial credit union Game On Athlete of the Week, our Von Hausen Stars of the Week. We'll wrap up the show at the end, but we're going to start off with highlights as we always do. And Joe, we got two good softball games this week. Ranked teams going at it, league play. And we're going to start it off with Wood Creek playing host to Rockland. Let's take you out to Mahaney Park in Roseville, home site for the number 3 Wood Creek Timberwolves, who are taking on the number 4 Rockland Thunder, a Sierra Foothill League showdown. Taking the circle for Wood Creek was its ace, junior J.C. Bowles, and she was on her game once again, keeping Rockland off the board through the first 3 innings. Home half of the third, Wood Creek gets the bats going, starting with this Katie Cesny bunt. She's safe, putting runners at first and second with 2 out. And then Holly McNeil steps to the plate and she delivers with a base hit to right. That'll bring home Rebecca Bernard, and the Timberwolves are on the board at 1-0. To the 5th inning, Wood Creek back at it again. Cesny again. This gets through. That's a base hit, putting runners aboard. And then Kendall Henry rips a shot to third. Rockland can't handle it. That's going to allow Cesny to come home, and Wood Creek is now up 2-0. Final 2 innings, it was just more terrific pitching by Bowles. She would allow just 2 hits, 1 walk, and strike out 6. Wood Creek gets the 2-0 win. Bowles improves to 11-1 on the season, while Wood Creek as a team improves to 15-1-1 and 6-0 in league play and playing well.
We've been trying to take it one game at a time, work through like every at-bat, we take it all. We've been focusing on every game, and it's really been working for us.
We have a captain, Kendall Henry, and I think all individually take leadership roles on this team, especially with different, we all step up in the game at one point or another. So I think we all take different leadership roles on this team.
The wins are nice, which I'm happy for them for the wins, So they've earned it. I mean, they work hard, they get along well together. So again, I give the credit to the kids.
Next up, we take it to Elk Grove for a Delta League All-Elk Grove matchup between the number 7 Sheldon Huskies and the number 9 Pleasant Grove Eagles. This from Pleasant Grove High School. Pitching for the Eagles was Rayana Young, and she looked good early on as she kept the Sheldon bats quiet through 2. The Eagles offense would strike first, home half the second, when Victoria Camina rips it to deep left center. That'll score Julia McCormack from second. Following McCormack would be Elise Madison, would score from first, and just like that, it's 2-0 Pleasant Grove as Camina finishes with a triple. That score would hold until the 5th when Sheldon's Jaciana Vasquez steals second. The ball is going to get away into center field. That'll bring Vasquez around third and into home, cutting the Eagles' lead to 2-1. In the 6th, Sheldon gets the long ball at sophomore Sarah Brown going deep. It's her 3rd of the season. That's a round tripper, and we are now tied at 2-2. Huskies had a big 7th inning as they continue to hit the ball well. Jordan Fines with the RBI hit. That's going to bring home her sister Macy. Sheldon now leads 3-2. Not done yet. Sarah Fukushima goes the opposite way. That brings Juju Milana in to make it 4-2 Sheldon. But they get Fines at home, but not before they score 2 runs. Now looking to close it out, starter Gabby Monte does just that as Sheldon gets the 4-2 win. Monte goes the distance as Sheldon improves to 5-0 league, tied with Elk Grove, and they'll meet this week.
As we could see, softball never slows down. It's such a great sport for the Sac Joaquin section. We always have good teams. Playoffs just around the corner. Baseball teams also really warming up as league play is fully in play, including the Delta League.
Yeah, the Delta League, it's stacked once again. It is the case this year, and we had a chance to see 2 good teams going at it. Pleasant Grove playing host to Jesuit. Out to the diamond for some baseball and back out to Pleasant Grove High School. It's the Eagles scoring off against the Jesuit Marauders. Game 2 of the series, and pitching for Jesuit was Cal commit Tanner Dodson. but Dodson ran into some problems in the first inning. Eagles with the bases loaded when Dodson walks in the game's first run, and it's 1-0 Pleasant Grove. Next up is Andrew Cisneros, and he'll ground to third. They get him out at first, but not before Bo Boyle scores, and it's now 2-0 Eagles. Jesuit would answer back in the third inning. Tough play right here would allow 2 runs to score, and that would tie the game at 2-all. Pleasant Grove got the lead back in the fourth. This infield hit brings home Brett Jones, and then a short time later, it's Jacob Alvidrez. He gets the base hit to left. In comes another run, and that'll make it 4-2 Pleasant Grove. Fifth inning now, another run for the Eagles. Nice bunt by Matt Blandford. That's going to score Ryan Aruda. It's 5-2. And with Matt Smith coming on for the final 4 innings, he puts this game away as Pleasant Grove takes it 5-2, staying in the thick of the Delta League race.
Great to be at Pleasant Grove in the Elk Grove Unified School District. Every game is so big. After that series, Pleasant Grove is playing Elk Grove, the number 1 team in the Sacramento OB. Rusty McLean's doing a great job with Pleasant Grove. The previous coach, Rob Rinaldi, is coaching the freshmen, so they've got great talent all the way through. But any win against a Tanner Dotson is big because Tanner Dotson is a verbal commit to Cal, could be a pro. He wasn't his sharpest in this game, but he's a big-time player.
And, as we're there at the game, you're looking around and you see Chris Loeb not dressed. He's out for the year, pitcher for Jesuit and Oregon State commit. So you think, man, with Dodson, if they had Loeb, that could be perhaps your 2 best pitchers in the area on the same team. I'm sure the Jesuits really just going, oh, man, wish we had that.
And Chris Loeb with his arm, shoulder problems, we talked to him earlier this season, and he's hurting. In more ways than one, he's a competitor. He wants to be out there, and there's nothing like watching your teammates play without you. But he'll be back. The way surgeries happen in rehab, these guys bounce back big, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, he's got a lot of baseball left in him. All right, Joe, more highlights. We've got some soccer. We're going to take you out to Elk Grove. Once again, it's Cosumnes Oaks. They're taking on Roseville. Capital Valley Conference soccer for you now. It's the Roseville Tigers on the road to take on the Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack. And about 10 minutes into this match, Cosumnes Oaks would strike first with this goal by Kylie Uris, and that puts the Wolfpack up 1-0, and they would go up 2-0 at the break. Second half action, Roseville would add a goal, but it wouldn't be enough as Cosumnes Oaks takes it by a final of 2-1 to remain a game back of first place Bella Vista. And finally, we'll wrap up our highlights with boys volleyball. It's the Del Oro Golden Eagles taking on their rival, the Granite Bay Grizzlies. This from Granite Bay, where the Grizzlies came in 11-4 on the season, but undefeated against area teams. First set, and it's Granite Bay grabbing an early 1-point lead, but the Grizzlies would maintain an advantage and go up 21-17 before taking this opening set 25-20, with Alex Stamus getting the game winner. Second set, more of the same. TJ Neiman with the kill. That's going to make it 15-10 Granite Bay. And then Neiman continued with one big shot after the next as the Grizzlies take the second set as well, 25-16. Final set, looking for the sweep. Oliver Witters sets up Tyler Giannetti for the kill. It's 19-10 Granite Bay. Here's Neiman one more time. Granite Bay within a point of ending this at 24-14. And to close it out, it's Eddie Gleason setting up Stamus, and that would do it as Granite Bay wins at 25-15 and gets the 3-game sweep. All right, Joe, when we come back, we've got our school's financial credit union Game On Athlete of the Week profile, but we got a lot more than that.
Yeah, some coaches, some big-name coaches changing schools or changing sports, and also athletes of note. It's the springtime in college football. We got all kinds of big-time names from around here. We're going to give you an update.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
In 1952, we opened our first market in the Central Valley. 63 harvests have come and gone since then, but we're still here. Because here, roots matter, and not just the ones pulled from the ground, but the ones that keep us grounded, the ones that make sure we'll always stay that hardworking family that started a market for other hardworking families. Save Mart. Roots matter.
We want to thank our title sponsor, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
Welcome back to the very best high school sports in Northern California. We are the Bee Prep Show, coming to you from the studios of the Sacramento Bee downtown. In a moment, we're going to talk about some of these college football players with spring drills going on right now, some familiar names from around here. We got some players. We got quarterbacks, linebackers, receivers. But first, one of our favorite segments.
Yes, it's now time for our school's financial credit union Game On Athlete of the Week profile. Lincoln senior Isaiah Garcia has been a key player on the varsity baseball team since his freshman year, and this season could be his best, batting .585 with 4 homers and an on-base percentage of .706. A talented shortstop for 4 years, last season Garcia helped lead Lincoln to its first ever appearance in a section baseball championship, and he wants one more shot at a title.
We're hungry. It was getting a little taste of that. It made us more hungry to come out this year to be to hopefully finish it off, and to be able to participate in that with a great group of players last year was exciting, and we hope that we can make it again this year.
The town of Lincoln is in Garcia's blood. He was born and raised in Lincoln. His father played baseball and basketball at Lincoln High, and his brother Eli is a teammate of Isaiah's on the baseball team. It's home to Garcia, and there's always interest in how the baseball team is doing.
All my family lives here, my mom, my dad, all of that family lives over here. So whenever I walk around or hang out with some of my dad's friends, we talk, they're alumni, they played baseball, they played basketball, football. They always talk about it, they're always like, how's the baseball team looking this year? Are you guys going to go? So, it's fun being able to compete and hopefully make a name for Lincoln for baseball.
With Isaiah being a year older than his brother Eli, the experience of playing on the same team the past 3 years is something both brothers will always appreciate.
It's kind of fun not having to compete against each other at home or in the backyard. It's fun to actually be able to be on the same team.
He's been playing baseball at a high level, and all I really can do is listen. He goes out. He just knows a lot of people, and I just listen to him. I don't know more than him, and I know that, but doesn't mean I'm it's just nice to have someone like that in my life.
Being a shortstop, Garcia tries to model his game after a player on a rival of his favorite team.
My favorite team's the A's, but my favorite player is Brandon Crawford. So I end up always watching more Giants games than A's games just to watch how Brandon Crawford goes about his game, his routines, and how he plays the game with the even kill. And that's who I try and really model myself after.
So Isaiah, what is the ideal ending to the season for you and the Fighting Zebras?
The league championship and being able to have another chance at a section championship. And, if it happens out in our favor, then that would be probably a perfect ending.
It's spring, so it means it's football season in one way or another. Eric Armstead, big man, very big man, 6'8", 295 pounds. We've followed him through this show in the Sacramento Bee out of Pleasant Grove High School, the University of Oregon. He has a visit this week with the 49ers, who have the 15th pick in the draft. They normally don't bring in guys unless they're really serious. Wouldn't that be something if he lands there? Shaq Thompson is getting looked at certainly as well out of Grant, so might have 2 guys high in the first round or second round, third round in the NFL draft, so not bad. Spring drills for college football going on. There's all kinds of names. I'm going to throw a name. You comment on him a little bit. Cameron Smith, 3-year starting linebacker for Granite Bay. Graduates early. He's down at USC. He's looked strong, and why does he look good? Because he looks the part of a ringer.
Yeah, I heard that he was playing well there, and I heard in one little scrimmage he had an interception down near the goal line, and that's what we saw him do a lot at Granite Bay. He had a lot of picks. He's got good speeds for his size, and he just has that line. When we saw him at Granite Bay, this guy's going to be big time.
And he's down at USC, graduated early, and this is a new trend. I'm not sure if I'm a real fan of that, because I think you miss out on graduation and senior moments and senior prom and all that. But talking to Jake Browning, our B Player of the Year in football, now at the University of Washington, he's an early enrollee. He goes, hey, you jump on an opportunity. And he's in the running for the quarterback job for the Washington Huskies. And what is it that they like about him is he can do everything. He's got touch. He could throw, and he's absorbed the playbook really well. He was a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard, is he went down there early so he could learn that playbook, and that's one of the strengths that Coach Richardson and Coach Taylor talked about with him. You have your gym rats with athletics, but you have a guy like Jake who dives into a playbook, knows it well, and everything we're hearing, he has as good a chance as anyone to be the quarterback next year.
Excellent shot. Okay, Thomas Spurbeck out of Jesuit High School, played quarterback in high school, is now a receiver at Boise State. really came on strong last year. He's tough. He's smart. He's having a good spring as well. This guy knew that he wasn't the quarterback mold, so he goes, I'll play another position. Really sharp son of a coach in Marshall Spurbeck. You find a way to get on the field, and he has done that. That's a real message. You play anything you can to get on the field.
Yeah, and he did that. And, we saw him as a receiver, quarterback a little bit, just a pure athlete. Not surprised at his success, and, good for him.
Yeah, really good for him. Biggest recruit for this fall in the Sac Joaquin section, maybe all of Northern California, is Jonah Williams out of Folsom High School. And this is a big man with a big beard and a big body. The #1 rated offensive lineman on the entire West Coast. He has given a verbal commitment to the University of Alabama, which signifies and stamps him as big-time legit. This guy's a dominant and very smart. He can play guard. He can play tackle, offensive line, defensive line. He's something else, and he is a monstrous load to come back.
Yeah, well, talking about Jonah Williams and kind of going back to Folsom High School, we just mentioned Jake Browning, their quarterback, their state champions. Well, you think about how good that team was and how good Jake was. We're talking about guys like Jonah Williams going to Alabama, as you mentioned, Cody Creason going to Arizona, Sam Whitney, who was a center on that team, going to Boise State, and a defensive end. So if you're back there wondering Jake Browning, yes, but it's reasons like Jonah Williams and those guys that help get it done as a team.
And Josiah Deguara going to the University of Cincinnati as a tight end hybrid receiver. So Jonah Williams, I can't remember, Mike, the last time we had a player go to Alabama to play football. It's been that long, and Alabama just happens to be pretty good. A shade above fair and average. I mean, that's a monstrous program, and he's from Georgia, grew up there, and he's okay with going anywhere. This is a sharp guy, and he is a dominating player. The coaches at Folsom last season had to tell him, hey, these are your teammates. You are roughing them up. That's how dominant he is. Good guy, good spirit, but he just plays with a motor.
Yeah, he does. All right, Joe, you've got some baseball news. We're going to kind of move over to some professional baseball. River Cats tone to it. Mr. Bowker, you caught up with him?
Yeah, John Bowker out of Rio Americano High School. He's a veteran now, big time. He's 31 years old, and he's glad to be back in the Giants organization. In 2008, as a rookie, he was the first Giants player to have a home run in his first 2 games. And then he had a power outage of sorts and bounced around and then played the last 3 seasons in Japan and thought, I've fallen off the radar. They'll never find me again. The Giants signed him. He's excited. He's glad to be playing at home. And then Andrew Susak, somebody you've seen for years. We got to know out of Jesuit High School, playing catcher. He was disappointed that he didn't make the big league roster with the Giants after playing there last season. But he had a nasty root canal that hospitalized him with a high fever. You know these 2 players. The one thing that really defines them is pride and work. And that's what the River Cats manager, Bob Mariano, said. Those are the things you can control, is effort and attitude, and those guys have it.
One, as you mentioned in your story, they enjoy it. For Susak, it's kind of like a bonus. If he's going to be in the minors, he gets to be at home, but he doesn't plan on being there long, that's for sure.
They're home, but they don't want to be home for long.
Yeah, no offense anyway.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, Joe, we're going to keep this going. We come back from the break. We got a whole lot more. We're going to talk about some coaching changes you mentioned in high school sports, and we'll finish up the show later on with our Von Hausen Stars of the Week, and we'll wrap it up.
There's a history you feel when you visit any of the Von Hausen automotive dealerships. You'll sense the quality of Mercedes-Benz, and you'll experience the low-pressure atmosphere that comes from 2 generations of family ownership. Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills, and Mercedes-Benz of Rockland. 3 great reasons to drive one of the world's best automobiles. Come feel the difference or visit vonhausen.com.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, starting with Save Mart Supermarkets, where fresh comes first. Shop at Save Mart up and down the Central Valley. Schools Financial Credit Union, banking for everyone, value, convenience, and emerging technology. Von Hausen Automotive Group, celebrating 50 years with Mercedes-Benz. Stop dreaming and start driving. Roseville Auto Mall. If you're looking for a used car, go to the Roseville Auto Mall with over 6,000 vehicles to choose from. And Les Schwab Tires. Since 1952, we promise we'll get you more for your money.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show, and we like to talk about the athletes and the teams, but sometimes the defining people in high school sports are the coaches, especially when they are coming and going. And we like to keep the show updated with coaches who are coming and going. We got some big ones in basketball. And Ken Manfredi, Monterey Trail basketball coach in Elk Grove, is moving across the district over to Franklin High School in Elk Grove. That's a great hire there. And Franklin, Jesse Formaker has stepped down because he's tending to his young son who's battling cancer. So good move there, but there's other moves as well. But I think when you get a great coach in play, you're in good shape, really good shape. Not to understate that.
Yeah, and Ken Manfrey is definitely one of the better ones. Players like him, he lives kind of in that general area of Franklin. So
his kids go to the feeder programs. Okay. It's a natural fit.
So you may think, he's bailing on Monterey. No, he's just an opportunity to get near home, and he's got young kids you'd mentioned, so it's a good spot. And I'll tell you what, you look up and down Franklin's roster of coaches at that school, and they got some good ones, but that's not the only change they've got going on there.
Well, and Mike Johnson was the terrific championship coach for football. Got to coach his son, great personality. We always enjoyed him. And then he stepped down and he just felt the football grind was too much. He needed to take a break, but he said, I'm going to stay coaching. I might coach water polo. Well, actually, he's the new girls basketball coach at Franklin High, and I think that's great. I think that just shows great character. Say, hey, he's a football guy, but he's not beyond coaching girls. He's won championships with girls basketball many years ago before he came up to the Sac Joaquin section. So how about that? I can't wait to go over there and second guess his player rotation in girls basketball.
Well, and his wife knows something about coaching girls basketball, so of course he thinks it's going to be fun.
Yes, and his wife is Gina Johnson, who's won a lot of championships at Delta College and Stockton, so I think their schedules will match. Yeah. So that's a good one
they
there.
They can share strategy, too.
That's exactly right. And how about a football coaching move? We talked about this in a previous show where Sacramento High School, the Dragons lost Paul Doherty to Whitney High School in Placer County, but brought in a good one, a coach that we like very much, in Justin Reber. I think is an excellent hire for the Dragons.
Yeah, Reber only got 1 year in at Rio Linda, but he is a great coach. He led his team, the Knights, back to the playoffs this year, and I think he's probably excited about that move. He's not going to have to go down to Southern California. He's going to take over a team that's going to be good. Sac High, Paul Doherty did a great job with the Dragons. They bring back their quarterback. So anytime you take over a football program, you bring back the quarterback, Caden Vogus. He's got everything set.
He wanted a chance to be closer to his daughter in Southern California, and this became a better opportunity at Sac High. And again, Mike, when you have a great coach in place, you're in great shape. You think of Guy Anderson all those years at Cordova, and Mary Jo Truesdale at Sheldon softball, and Mike Albergini at Grant football. The anchor programs are great when they have great coaches. It's that simple.
So is that all the coaching changes? I mean,
that we know of. Stay tuned next week.
I agree. All right, Joe, one more segment left in this show. We'll bring our Von Hausen Stars of the Week, and we'll wrap it up.
A credit union is a not-for-profit member-owned financial institution. Can your bank say that? Demand more from your financial institution. Make the switch to Schools Financial Credit Union for low loan rates, state-of-the-art technology, making accounts accessible anytime, anywhere, and more ATMs than most major banks. Anyone who lives, works, or worships in Sacramento and its surrounding counties is eligible to join. Be part of the credit union difference and bank happily ever after with Schools.
We want to thank our title sponsor, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
Welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show, coming into the comfortable, confined quarters of the Sacramento Bee. We don't have to worry about wind or rain. It's bad for my hair, that wind.
It is bad.
I can't stand it. But before we get to the Von Hausen Stars of the Week, one of our favorite segments with the great athletes that we have out there, let's talk a little track and field and applaud some of these athletes who multi-sport. Darren Paulo, a mountain of a man. For the Grant Pacers, he's going to Utah to play football. He also throws his weight around, literally, in track and field this spring and last year. throwing the discus or the shot put. He was second in the state in the discus last season. He's off to another rousing start there. Jonah Williams, we talked about earlier, the big offensive tackle for Folsom. It's good for these guys to multi-sport. And Lenny Nelson of Wood Creek does the same thing. He's a long jumper, high jumper, sprinter, played football, played basketball, going to Azusa Pacific to play basketball. Our theme is play as many sports as you can, because once you get to college, it's one sport or no sports.
Yeah, I agree. And then staying on that spring theme as we're doing girls soccer, a lot of teams playing well. I think the Delta League, the strongest, and probably have the best contenders for a Division I championship. We're talking about Franklin, Davis, and St. Francis. So one of those three is going to win Division I section championship. You have some other teams playing well, like Bella Vista, undefeated as of the time that we're airing this show. So as I mentioned, we're going to continue to get into all those sports heavy as the next 7 to 8 weeks take us up to June 9th, our final show.
Yeah, that's it's fast track right now. And check out SACB.com if you want to read an interesting story, which I think is a cautionary tale for coaches and athletic directors. But Sacramento Bee, we had a story, Denny Walsh, recently about Vic Pitton, longtime basketball coach at St. Francis in Sacramento, the girls coach, and there's a lawsuit going on where the former athletic director for St. Francis is going after the school, her alma mater, for wrongful termination, and basically wanted to terminate the coach. Vic Pitton felt that he was too animated, too boisterous, and this is going to be an interesting case. And I'm surprised we don't see more of it. I'm troubled by it. It's unfortunate. I've seen Vic Pitton. You've seen Vic Pitton. He is animated. He's passionate. Loves the players love him. If coaches are going to get removed for being too animated, we're not going to have any coaches left.
Yeah, and the angle I take, I know Vic as well, so I don't know anything about this scenario. It occurred years ago, apparently. But I like to see, let's play it out. Let the court system and that process go through. You know, as we all know, more information tends to come out. And so we're not taking sides. I think what we're just saying is let's see what happens, let's see what comes out, and we'll know soon.
And it's just interesting where sometimes litigation comes into play when coaches are terminated or athletic directors are terminated. And it's just really interesting. SACB.com has that story. Just look up St. Francis basketball and Vic Pitton in any of the search engines there. All right, back to the playing field. You got some athletes of the week?
I do. It's our Von Hausen Stars of the Week. This week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week are Ryan Aruda of Pleasant Grove and Sarah Brown of Sheldon. Aruda, the senior third baseman for the Eagles, helped lead Pleasant Grove to a 2-1 week that included wins over Jesuit and top-ranked Elk Grove. In each game, Aruda had at least one hit, going 4 for 9 with a double, 2 RBIs, and he scored twice. As for Brown, the sophomore first baseman had an outstanding week for the Huskies in 2 wins, including an important 4-2 league winner over Pleasant Grove. Brown was a combined 3 for 5 with a double, a triple, a solo homer, and 3 RBIs. All right, Joe, another fun show. Folks, if you want to see this show, you do so by tuning into Comcast Sportsnet California every Tuesday. The show usually airs around 4:30. Check your local listings. Time tends to move on us a little bit. It'll re-air Wednesdays, Thursdays sometimes. But here's the good news, Joe. If you missed the show on TV, if you missed on TV, by the way, I think you can see it on somewhere.
Yes, SACB.com. We have a full menu of stories, photo galleries, columns, features, all Metro teams, and the link to this show, because we appreciate the greatness of high school sports.
Yes, we do. All right, folks, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.